Hello and a very warm welcome to the very first episode of the Inside Game podcast. I intend to release this on a weekly basis, and over the course of the next few weeks we have some big names that have agreed to join up and have a discussion, so be sure to check those episodes out when they come out. But for this one I've decided to flip the script a little bit and put the man, the myth, the legend that is Eugene Creaney onto the other side of the microphone, and he has reluctantly agreed to come along and do that. So before we get started, just a big shout out to Raymond Waters and the crew at the Old Coach Inn in Castleblaney for their continued support of the page. And without further ado, I bring you Mr. Sports Media himself, Eugene Creaney. Eugene, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Gary. Pleasure to be here.
Good. Look, so I'm going to ask you about your time as a reporter and various other things, but before that, as your son, I know firsthand that you're a family man first and foremost.
Correct, yes, 100%, Gary. You're the oldest son, then we have Kevin, Connor and Ryan, all Sarsfields players at one time or other. I know some are still playing for the old dads and lads at the minute, but even organising it. 4 sons and 6 lovely grandchildren. In no particular order: Dara, Lily, Grace and Adam, Liam and Olivia, and my wife Margaret, who brought me to die Trasna 30 or 40 years ago to the High Moss, and I've been accepted down there. And when I went down there at that particular time and I realised where I was, I mean, for me, when down there to now, it's been an absolute pleasure, particularly during COVID, when you couldn't get moving about that much. The country was fantastic, but I loved the High Moss. When I'm down there, fortunately, believe it or not, I've lived along there more than I've been living in the town. And when I looked around and I seen where Eddie Moore lived, Francie McAlitten lived, where the Skeletons lived, all 4 or 5 who played with the Sarsfields, where the Murrays lived. Just around the corner was where Sean Quinn lived. So basically a big football fraternity down there as well. So absolute pleasure to live down there, trusting and the best people in the world. So I'm thinking about accepted as a Sarsfields man after all them years.
Very good.
Hopefully.
Very good. So look, how did you start reporting? What got you into it, and what sort of paved the way for where you find yourself today?
Well, I'm very reluctant to call myself a journalist. That's the first thing. No degree, nothing like that. There are no universities, accreditations. I caught on very, very soon in St. Paul's Junior High School that the players who were in the grammar stream couldn't play for the soccer team, Gaelic or rugby or hurling, whatever it was at the time, basketball. And I decided to go into 2B the second year. It means you could play all your sports. So at that particular time, there was a guy called Seamus Lavery, who was the GA correspondent with the Lurgan Mail. And Seamus brought me in on the Monday and the Tuesday and said, look, how'd the game go? We won Ulster Championships, won Armagh titles 2 years in a row, won a lot of soccer tournaments. Some of the players I played with at that particular time, I'm not saying I was good or bad, but the guys I played with, Tommy Henderson, Seamus Moore, Dennis Seeley went on to play for Armagh, Eamon McCorry, the great Eamon Murray, God rest him, Jared McCorry, Jared Cassie from St. Paul's, Pat McDade, Andy McMurray. We had some great players, won a lot of trust off that particular time. But Seamus brought me around to do the reports, and he says to me, look, I think you have a bit of a flair for writing. So I wasn't sure what that meant at 13, 14, 15 years of age. So he says, look, keep an eye out in years to come for something in the Lurgan Mail that might suit you. And then my form teacher, Francie McCoy, told me the exact same thing. So that maybe had spotted somebody sort of thinking at the time anyway, Gary. But basically what happened then was, never thought anything more about it. And ironically, I got in a wee group called the Armagh Supporters Club in the 90s, didn't win anything. I would travel all throughout Ireland, throughout Ulster, and as Joe Hurlin said one time, he was a secretary, he says, we won nothing, but we've seen every county in Ireland, every county ground. Went on buses with people like Morgan McConville, Chairman then, God rest him, Joe Corr, Roy Tiffany, are you still going to the games? Jim Livingstone, Anne Livingstone, John McGrath, Margaret Hill. Hope I haven't left anybody out. Some fantastic people, lifetime friends, great people at the time. It wasn't very fashionable them days like it is now to support the county. You were getting really castigated for it. But one particular day, I remember sitting with Roy Tiffany in Nolan Park in Kilkenny. It might have been in the early 90s. And Roy counted the crowd, and it was 120 at the game. And there was 100 from Armagh, 20 from Kilkenny. The following week in Nolan Park, there was 25,000 at the hurling. And that shows you the difference in Kilkenny football hurling at that particular time. Yeah. But I always remember Roy counting the crowd. But basically, I done like PR for them. Joe Hurlin nominated me for PRO role. I did it. And the Lurgan Mail, I sent sort of stories into the Lurgan Mail at the time every week. Through to Seamus Lavery, who was a GA reporter. And God rest Seamus when he died. What happened then was I knew I was doing it anyway. And Richard Elliott, the other, rang me up and says, look, do you fancy taking this on board? So 24 years later, I was there until it sort of died off a bit. The papers have sort of died. Never missed the deadline, even when I was on my holidays, faxing stuff across from maybe Spain or Portugal, whatever it was. Never missed the deadline. Loved every minute of it. Sometimes controversial enough, get yourself in a bit of trouble if you had an opinion. That's where it went to, and basically evolved into it rather than being a crazy situation. So I loved it, and here we go.
Very good.
Now social media is taking over, so
that's it. So the Lurgan Mail finished, and that led you to Facebook then.
Yes, it did.
And that's what you have, and that's what we're presenting the podcast here today. But I remember a lot of those people because I was dragged along
definitely
to those matches with you and those buses. And they were good days. Now, for instance, I was only quite young, but it sort of paved the way for me too. You know, being fanatical about Armagh.
And the Facebook thing came about through Collie Malone, who had the chippy in town there. Collie was a big Glenavon man, good soccer man. He says, if you want to go out on your own, he says, I'll help you and back you up on it. So he did. And tried to do the cross community sort of sporting thing, but because of the GAS situation, people knew that's what I did. Mm-hmm. That was easier. Mm-hmm. I'd follow a bit of soccer, a bit of martial arts, as you know, and different sports, but the Gaelic would be my big thing, big forte. And Collie helped me out of the start, so thanks very much for that, Colin. And that's where I ended up. So that's like in the social media.
Very good, very good. Was there an article you wrote in your time that stood out? Like maybe the hardest article to write, or maybe like your best article, best work?
There's a good and a bad. There's a real good article I did, which I loved. Maybe not necessarily an article, but I can start with that first of all on the positive note. 2002, Armagh won the All Ireland, right? And Margaret and I, my wife, Margaret died trusting your mum, who saved me from managing a disaster in my life. We have to give credit for a woman of great substance, by the way. Good Died Trusting woman. She's actually more relations in Clonard than anybody else, with the Hendersons and McConville. So she's well known in there. Her mother was from the Antrim Road, McConville. And we were down in the Bales of Crow Park, as it were, after the All Ireland final 2002. The fans had nearly all left, and the Armagh players were in the changing room. So I remember Jackie Meehan standing outside smoking. Jackie was from Ardown. He was one of the strength and conditioning coaches at that time, former boxer. Don Turley was there, and we walked in and into the changing room straight in. You wouldn't get that doing that nowadays, but we downed it in. Said Margaret, and the boys were singing the Boys from County Armagh. If I had a camera, I'd have given the picture to the Armagh County Board, who could have sold it to me for charity.
Yes.
I'd have definitely done that. It'd been something you could have kept, but I wasn't a photographer, so it didn't have anything to do with that. But I walked in, and the boys were singing, and who was sitting in the corner with the top off, and Francie Value on his own, with the head down. And Margaret went over and sat beside and put her arm around him. So that was a memory I'll never forget. Nothing to do with football as such.
Yeah.
But Francie was sitting in the corner, such an iconic moment. And the boys were all jumping and singing. We, Joe Jordan, God rest him, was the chairman. Paddy O'Nugent was there. Great people. Knew the boys really well. And Mr. Belly was sitting in the corner. And the boys were all jumping and lapping around the place. And he was sitting on his own, nice and shy, with the head down.
Yeah.
That was his way. That's just
that was Francie, all right.
Absolutely.
And you'd mentioned that was a positive.
That was a positive. The negative came basically outside football. John Bingham, God rest him as well, who deceased. John was a great man for the mid-Ulster football and stuff in Glenavon. And I met John every Tuesday in the office before the email situation came in. He'd go up with notes and then he would type them all out. So John rang me up Monday, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. It was maybe 15 years ago. And he says to me, look, have you heard the news? I says, no, it didn't. He says, Kieran McGurk's passed away. He said he was 49, and that was a shock in itself, right? I knew Kieran pretty well. Lived in Derrymacash, and one of my idols growing up. One a fantastic player. I all remember Killorgan and the goal he scored against Kerry in the great games at Crow Park. But Kieran passed away that time, died suddenly. And the hardest article I wrote was about Kieran. And I'll never forget it. John said, what were we going to run this? You know, it was a big story locally. What were we going to do? So we had it on the back page, had it on the inside back page, we had it on the sport, we had it on the front. And had on the inside front 2 pages with 6 pages about Kieran that particular time, about his football ability, where he worked, what he done. And the first man I rang was a guy called Harry Gormley. And Harry would have been the big man around the county with the score competitions.
That's right.
So I rang Harry, he says, look, tell me about Kieran in his younger days. And he says, look, I picked him up at the top of Francis Street in Lurgan, brought him to the Sarsfields. He was going to go to the Clans. Kieran ended up playing for Rogue at one stage. Went to Sarsfields, won a medal in 1990 with Brian McGillivray took the team. So it was a hard thing to do, but I'll never forget the title on the front page. John put up, he says, a legend is mourned by Kieran. And that was tough.
Yeah.
I had to go and meet his family and his wife and his brothers to find out information about him, about where he came from, all that sort of stuff. So that was a difficult one.
Yeah, would have been. A legend for sure, club and county.
There was always a wee one that hurt me too, was when I was talking to Paul Grimley, and I felt so sorry for him. I think he was bypassed for the Armagh job. After a bit of Joe Kieran and out there, but I think he was a wee bit bypassed, and that sort of annoyed me too. But Paul moved on the way he went, so that was a good and the bad and the ugly, as it were. So there you go.
Okay. So look, next question. I think I know the answer to this one, but maybe to clear up some confusion, who would you say is who would you count as your Gaelic club?
Modernly, 100% Sarsfields.
Okay.
Modernly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and like you played for them, Kevin played for them. Kevin got a bad injury, cruciate ligament, SEL, when he was about 19. He got his place at cornerback on that Sarsfields team. John Burns was the manager. You played yourself. Played a year twice as a co-mans. We're blowing too many trumpets. Connor would be the sort of consistent player among them, but he's one of the guys that's run this 5-year plan in Sarsfields too. So Rand would probably be the footballer in the house. Not that you wouldn't tell him that, but he certainly is.
Still playing. But
he's still playing. He's trying to get back next year. He's all into your martial arts and your BJJ, run a very successful club. So I've had that input into the Sarsfields. I'll tell you later on what the most pleasurable part of football would be, maybe run teams. But Sarsfields are my club at this minute in time. I grew up in a very strong Clonagale family from Shankill, the Shankill area. My father was Clonagale. My brother Cal was Clonagale. Joe was Clonagale. Our Jerry was a fanatic. Clonagale. The people who married into the family, Donny Trainer and Tony Moore, were all clans at that particular time. So I played for St. Peters under Jared Jordan, Tom McCusker, Joe Monteith, Ben McLavery, who had a huge burn in my life, keeping me straight. Bennig was fantastic. All I said, Bennig, if he was a clergyman, everybody would be in heaven. That sort of a guy. He should have been a priest or a minister, whatever you want to call it. But Bennig was a big influence. So all those great managers, when I played with St. Peters in the early days, I played on the St. Peters minor team. He won the treble in 1974. I was only 14. But I was making a bit part performance in and out and back and forward. Brian McGill, fantastic player. John McGrath, Booter Clark, Paul Moore, fantastic player. Jim McCall, God rest him in goals. We had a very good team, but I was only 14. And I sort of was hit because at that time players were boardings and co-mans. I never was a sub ever. That's just the way it was. Then they teams in St. Paul's. And then the boys came back from St. Coleman's. The boarders came back and took my place. And they were 17, 18. But I didn't realise you had 4 years to go.
Yes.
And that sort of knocked me back a wee bit. And somebody that said to me, look, you're too young here. Take your time and let's blend it in. But sort of helped me a wee bit. But basically, Peters from the club, played for them. Some great memories in Peters and Freecrow. Some good managers down there. And they're great players to play with as well. And then there was always a pull to Clonagale, always a pull to the clans, because my family were all clans and the boys were all going to the games. And when you started to go to Clonagale matches when you're 14, 15, 16 years of age, it sort of took the emphasis off St. Peters. Still love the old ways, I still do, right? But took the emphasis off it, and I was going to watch Clonagale. When you started to watch Ferry McCallie, Kevin France, Jimmy Smith, McKinstry, Jerome McKenna, and I was watching Donny the Broadnaw playing for him as well. When you started to go to that, it was like a drug. Anybody who remembers that Clonagale team will tell you the exact same thing. What a team.
Yeah.
Different times, harder football, played in mucky conditions. But when I started to work off the Clan, it almost came like a drug, and it kind of knocked me back from playing for St. Peters. Because as in maybe Nemo Rangers Club in Cork in the morning, watching the Clans, or in Croke Park watching the All-Ireland finals, or watching them playing in Ulster. And then you see that match, you want to go to the next one.
Yeah.
And it became like a bug, and that's why I was sort of different between the two clubs. But I moved to Trasna. I've got myself dug in down there, and I would say at this minute in time, Sarge my club.
Yeah.
And that's the way football has become, because it used to be your one or the other. Now people are more floaty.
Yeah.
And there's more blow-ins like myself, and that's good. You need that. You sort of need that sense of identity, but at the same time, that's just the way society is.
That's it. So it was Peters player, Clonagale family, and then more recently Sarge, because you've been living there so long, and your sons
longer than the town. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Just sort of quickly, would you have a soft spot for any other clubs? I think I've heard you talking maybe before about.
I actually do, and to be totally fair, if I had been any good or what my place, I would love to play for Murray.
Right.
And there's a strange one. So there's another club. More clubs in Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But I'd love to play for Murray. I think I invented craft. That's the first thing. Very crafty players, very intelligent players. And I think I told the Sarge who's played senior players just a few years back, like, people are talking about Murray being a small country club. They're not. I think they're a big club.
Yeah.
People say, they're a small club and they've little resources. What you have to understand, Gary, too, is that Sargent were beat this year by the champions, Madden. Was that right?
Sarsfield? No, Murray
sorry,
by
excuse
a point,
me.
yeah.
Murray beat this year by Madden by 1 point.
That's correct, yeah.
who went on to win the championship easy against Cullyhan in the final. So without Aidan Falker, that's the prerequisite to it. So Falker wasn't there. Had Falker been there, they could have actually won the championship with the team. Whoever said they're gone over the top, too young, too old. Young O'Keefe's come in. Without Aidan Falker, Stephen Falker was still playing well. So a team that can reinvent themselves like that and win 2 championships previously. I mean, they followed them through the intermediate club championship in Ulster as well. And I'll tell you about them. They like you, they don't.
Yeah.
And what made me saying that?
Yeah.
You're in and you're not. I always found myself getting on very easily with them, but I would love to have played for them. I respected Jimbo Robinson, Dixie Robinson, Dermot Falker, all them players, Joe Falker, and that's why them new lads are coming through. The Falkers now, they're just marry men.
Yeah.
Just love it.
Yeah.
And that's the team that I admire more than any team in the county.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're small in terms of the pool of players that they can pick from, but they really utilise it so well.
Absolutely.
They've become a big club just purely by how they use the resources.
And me checking the book.
Yeah, no, it's good.
But no, that's who I really admire, to be fair.
So look, you're obviously known for your roles within the world of Gaelic games, particularly Gaelic football. But do you have any other interests, like sporting, maybe or otherwise?
Absolutely. Well, I'm an Everton fan all my life. Unfortunately, from the mid-90s, as you remember, hope you do remember that they haven't won very much, to be fair, and it doesn't make any difference to me. You know, I'm an Everton fan. Once a blue, always a blue, so that's who I support. But I go back to believe it or not, the Alan Ball and the Joe Royal days and Howard Kendall days and Colin Harvey days, Brian LeBeau and Gordon West and goals. Go back to that time and then I go to the mid-80s with Lineker, Graham Sharp, Sheedy, Peter Reid, all them great teams. And the modern football now, guys, not as much for me anymore. A lot of I like what they call the home international players, the guys from Northern Ireland, the guys from the Republic of Ireland, guys from Wales, Scotland, England, playing for them clubs when the old Division 1 was in vogue. Ryan Clough, Nottingham Forest. Loved them days. I sort of got away from a bit with the foreign players coming in, holding me as much up to date.
Yeah.
And my interest would be the Irish League.
Yeah.
My interest would be watching the Irish League every Friday night, watching the podcast, watching the games. I'm always seeing the Gaelic guys who are doing well in it, like Conady. I knew where he was coming from 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And every club in Ireland, North and South, Republic of Ireland and the North, well, basically bought him, took him in. He could have been in England. Young Galvin was with Dungannon Swifts. He could be a big star too, coming in from Keighley. Yep. But I would like the Irish League. I like it, and I like it. Still a wee bit of hoofing going on. Few still hard tackles. We don't get in the Premiership.
Yeah. Proper
football. It's not everybody's cup of tea because they say like not enough football, ball to feet. But I think it's great. I'd like to keep an eye on Glenavon. I keep an eye on all the teams. Have a good, genuine interest in it. Genuine interest in it.
Yeah, I know you do.
And always have done. When I was working for Morris Steves and serving my time as a heating engineer, a lot of boys in Portadown was working with me, and a lot of boys from Glenavon, and with a good big Lenny Moulds, Albert Palin, Jed Stevenson's dad, Jim, was the chairman of Glenavon at the time. And I took an interest in what they were doing. And the GAA boys, Sean McGill and Shamie Fern there as well, to keep us going with it. Seamus played for Down. And got to know all the boys, and there was always a bit of banter on a Monday morning with Glenavon, Portadown. Portadown boys used to call it Bowview Park when they're beat. But a good crack with them boys, so it sort of stuck with me, and I enjoy the football too. I like that play at that level, but who knows?
Very good. So look, maybe your opinions on a couple of things. So obviously between 1977, 2002, 2024, you've seen a lot of generations of Armagh football, plus all the club football, and quite possibly you prefer the club football over the county scene.
Maybe, yeah.
But in that time, who would you say has been the best manager?
In Armagh?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
No, probably we'll stick to Armagh.
Well, the old saying goes out of shot without Joe Creaney. There's absolutely no doubt about that, none whatsoever. I mean, Geezer, what he has done from Division 3, Division 2, didn't win the Ulster, fair enough, but won an All-Ireland with the team.
Yeah.
And it was Kenny snatched off him the new rules. I thought, I'll tell you about that in a second. Joe Creaney, like, if you look at the record of Cross,
County, yeah.
Unbelievable, with maybe 3 Cross McLean teams. From the first one was the start with the McIntees and wee Jim McConnell and them boys. But Joe Creaney, what he done with Cross, and then he won the Ulster with Armagh as well, all the Ulsters.
Multiple times
on the All-Ireland. And in all fairness to Brian, the 2 Brians, Brian McGlynn, Brian Canavan, set him up decently well with that team, but you had to get them over the line. That was the difficult part.
Yeah.
Okay, building the team. The boys were fantastic. We've made a few changes, chopped a few things about, but Joe Creaney, in my opinion, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, everybody's your favourite manager, but as far as like tactics go, the record goes,
yeah,
all the Ulster titles and the All-Ireland win. 2005, should have had another one.
Yeah, it was a good team.
He should have had maybe 3 All-Irelands, just unlucky. 2003, no luck there. Was a sending off.
Yeah.
And came through back doors managed the time as well. But Joe Kiernan, McGeaney, fantastic. I think Kieran McGeaney's best forte was bringing the right people in at the right time. Colin Flanagan, Donaghy, knowing what was needed. Really wasn't working for him, but had the foresight and the vision to bring other people in to help him out and put them over the line. Another manager I have a huge respect for would be Noel O'Hagan and Clonagale. Noel, I always call him a bridge over troubled waters. The Clans were what I would call the Poison Chalice Club. A lot of people didn't want them because of their success. They were really good. When he went to Clonagale, there was a huge expectation from his supporters.
Yeah.
Who would know themselves how critical they were during that period. There was a time from 77, 72, 3, 4. They dipped, came back in the 90s, and then they dipped again. And Noel was always there as a chairman, as an ex-player, as a manager. They couldn't get anybody. Noel stepped out of the breach. But it wasn't fashionable to take those Clonagale teams. Easy to manage a good team, but he was the man, so to say, a bridge over troubled water. Took the teams when they're good, bad, and indifferent. Good chairman, good clubman.
Yeah.
Barry O'Hagan's father, that is, Dunby's father. And they was always there when they needed them. And I had a lot of respect for Noel, taking the Clans teams when they were sort of struggling. And it's easy to take a good team, but not so easy to take a bad team.
Yeah.
Joe Kieran without a doubt, then McGeady, then Noel O'Hagan, but Joe without a shadow of a doubt, miles in front, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
The record would be hard to argue against.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. So look, one last opinion. Then we done a video about a year ago, less than a year ago, about new rules that were coming in. If you can still call them the new rules, even at this stage. We didn't know what was going to unfold throughout the season, but we've now got the 2025 seasons in the bank, club and county.
Yeah.
So if you were to just give a sort of quickly review them, are you in favour now of what you've seen?
How long have we got? 10 minutes.
No, try and do it in 60 seconds here.
Do my best, right? Okay. Kieran McGeaney, after 10 years, had a prize fighter called the Armagh Senior Team, who were middleweight champions, you could call them, and they were told to fight heavyweight the next time out. Okay, well, boxing terms. So McGeaney had that team primed, had them all set up. Everything was lovely. Ulster teams at college level, under 21 and minor, won everything that year.
They did, yeah.
The lot, okay? Now, I'm not saying Jordan Thornton's done a fantastic job. Something had to happen. Well, I think the poster boys just pushed out into it down south. And they had to change. Everything was fantastic when Dublin were clean all over the place, when everything, like robotically, so I thought.
Yeah.
Not a problem with the game, everything was fine, okay? All of a sudden, the other teams started to dominate, and next thing, the game was changed. I would love to have seen Armagh getting the second chance with the old rules. Now, people say, same for everybody. When you're the All-Ireland champions and you're praying that way and you've everything set up lovely, the next thing is taken from you. Okay? And then Kerry came in. To me, it was like placing Ronaldo, George Best or Messi up front and saying, let's make a game suit these guys. David Clifford, absolutely brilliant player. To me, wasn't the best of all time. I'll tell you who I thought was. Okay? What a footballer. Don't get me wrong. But to set him up and say, look, yes, the game is here. I always thought that Ulster teams were children of a lesser god if they're winning. If they didn't win, they were saying, tap you in the back, well done lads, off you go home. And then when you did win it, oh, the game's bad, the game's terrible, it's gone to the dog, Ulster's winning it all around like in the early 90s. But I thought it was ideally set up for David Clifford, number one. I think that's what some people wanted. Okay? I'm a bit cynical about it, but I would like to see Armagh getting the second chance in 2025 that they did the previous year when they won it.
Yeah.
And I think that they were robbed of it. And I know Kerry beat all the top Ulster teams fair enough, but I think the system suited them. Suited Clifford, suited the open forward, open play, less hard hitting, less closing down. And David, great player that he was, sort of struggled the year before.
Yeah, the defences have definitely found a way to get him closed out.
Get him closed out, and this time no. But to me, the best player of all time, people say David Clifford's best forward at this minute in time. There's no doubt about that, forward-wise. Some of the best players of all time were quarterbacks, centre-backs. The forwards will always get the plaudits. I thought the best player I ever seen doing all on the utility man was Jack O'Shea.
Yeah, a lot of people would still say that.
Absolutely. And could have played full back, midfield, could have scored, 2 feet, pace, tough. And you'll see him against the Aussie rules competitions, how tough he was against the students, took a lot of abuse. Clever's a fantastic player, but I thought O'Shea was the best of all of them.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But in a one word answer, do you think the new rules made for a better spectacle in 2025 compared to previous seasons? One word answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think generally that was the feeling. Obviously, there's other factors at play on what you think about them.
Yeah.
On a whole, but I think
not that I agree with everything.
I think most people thought it was a good year.
Yeah, it definitely was 100% good year.
So look, Eugene. Lastly, what would be any memories that you could just quickly say, like good memories you've had in this kind of context here, the sports media or sporting Gaelic terms, or
the most enjoyable times were basically managing teams in the Sarsfields. Took under 14s when you were there. Took the under 16s, yourself and Kevin was playing. Took reserve teams. Never took a senior team, thank goodness. Not that it would ever be offered, but it's got so high tech. So the best time I had was taking the reserves. Won 14 matches in a row one of the years and lost the league. Got the 2 championship finals. Got the 3 finals under 16s. And the best memories I have around Sarsfields would be managing the young teams, and the management side is brilliant.
Yeah.
So apart from playing in my early days, I drifted away from the game a wee bit, drifted away from soccer too. And the best memories I have would be coaching younger players. I was with Kevin there with the under 12s 2 years ago, or last year. Loved all that. There were some great players coming too. But managing yourself when you were playing, even with Scobans, with Ryan, Connor, Kevin, and your Liam's with Lurgan Celtic, also with the Sarsfields as well. Your son Adam's playing there under 10s this year. So a lot of promise. So you're stuck into the club. Part of my life. The most enjoyable thing would be basically coaching and managing teams. I might maybe retire from that, but that was fantastic. Like so much joy and fun.
Very good.
And just maybe I'll be thinking at it as well. I love to see, and I have loved to see Brian McCambridge, Rian O'Neill, all the boys you wrote about, a 10-year-old, and TK and Turbo coming in there, Subi Campbell. From you seeing their 10-year-old, next thing you're all stars. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a feeling.
Yeah.
So I loved that part of it as well. I really did.
Excellent. Very good. Well, listen, that has absolutely flew in for our first show. So, Eugene, thanks again.
I thought an hour and a half, Gary.
Eugene, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, and expect the brown envelope or checking the post.
Oh, no, we're not into. We're still in amateur status. It plays here too.
I know we have some big names coming up, so wish you well in your new endeavour. Any help you need if you need a shoulder to lean on and a wee bit of experience to try and keep your.
Well, no better man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Eugene.
Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. That was Eugene Creaney, the interviewee this time. Now, Eugene requested the in-person, old-school, face-to-face style discussion, but future episodes are likely going to be video call. And as I said before, some big names coming on the show, some very big names, so be sure to tune in for those. And until then, thanks for watching the Inside Game Podcast.